Okay, so we are live now. Good afternoon, viewers. Good afternoon from wherever you are. Program Meet the Press with me, Lovejoy on this exciting program, and we talk about everything, and we invite everyone from everywhere, right? So on the program today, we are going to be talking about an interesting topic. As you know, we are targeting, or the government is targeting, a 12 billion mining industry, but that is coming at a cost as much as we would want to benefit from the industry. So we are going to be talking to various youth from various organizations who are going to be talking to us about environmental child rights, what needs to be done, what it is, how we can mitigate those challenges that we're facing due to the destruction of the environment. All right, so I'll let the guys introduce themselves. Unfortunately, because of the technical problems that we're having, we're supposed to be having 4 guests on the program, but right now we have 2. We'll try to connect with the other 2 as we go along the way. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us, Lovejoy.
All right, so I've got Rod, Moyo, and Marvelous, and Marvelous, but I'll let them introduce themselves for the sake of time. Guys, Marvelous, I'll start with you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Marvelous Kudakwashe Magbune from the Regional Network of Children and Young People's Trust. Over to you, Roderick.
All right, Roderick.
Thank you, Lovejoy, and thank you, viewers, for having us this afternoon. My name is Roderick Moyo from the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association. The Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association is a public interest premier environmental law organization that focuses on the preservation and the protection of the environment for the beneficiation of communities. Thank you.
All right, and then the other one, Fadzai.
Hi everyone, my name is Fadzai Chikomba from Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association Youth Network.
All right, so before we go anywhere, I would want to reiterate that this program is proudly sponsored by Zella. They're the ones who are bringing you this program. We are supposed to have another lady who will join us along the way. We hope that she can be able to connect through to us, and you know how network can be. Right, let's get on with it, lady and gentlemen. Right, I'll start with Roderick. Right, please, in short, in brief, explain to us what are environmental child rights and where are they coming from? Why are they important?
Thank you, Lovejoy. This is such an interesting and critical issue, especially in this era that we are in. Simple environmental child rights, here we are looking at the rights that specifically relate to children. If you look at it, each and every one of us, at least now we are at our youthful age, which means we are provided the opportunity and the space to grow and mature to come to this age. So when we are looking at environmental child rights, we are now saying, let's provide the conditions and the environment that are necessary for children to develop and mature to reach the stages that we are in. I would then love to subdivide these rights into 2 groups where I have substantive rights and procedural rights. Substantive rights here, we look at the issues to do with climate change, the issues of ecosystem, the issues of the environment. Then the procedural rights now, we are looking at, for example, where mining activities is happening. Now we are saying the right for information, environmental information, the right for children to participate in policy formulation and implementation processes, such as the environmental impact assessment, where mining community is happening. So environmental child rights are so critical and they are so crucial, because if you look at all the rights, the right to life, the right to health, the right to education, all these rights are dependent upon a clean and a healthy environment. No wonder if you look at our constitution in Zimbabwe, Section 73 actually establishes the protection and the realization of environmental child rights for children. So basically, this is the environmental child rights, and all the rights that we can talk about, Marvelous, they are dependent upon the environment. The environment provides for food, it provides for the air that we breathe, it provides for the water. So they are very important. Thank you.
All right, interesting. Thank you so much, Roderick, for that. I was trying to go to Fadzai. Fadzai, can you hear me? Okay, you might want to unmute your mic.
Okay, sorry.
All right, fine. You're coming from Zella Youth Network, right? From a youth point of view, how do you see the issue of ECR? Do you think maybe enough is not being done to ensure that children's rights in relation to the environment are protected?
Sorry, Lovejoy, I'm not hearing you properly.
Okay, I'm saying, do you think maybe enough is not being done to ensure that ECR are preserved? Okay, she's gone. I'll pose the same question to Marvelous. Marvelous, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. So the same question that I was asking Fadzai was that from a youth perspective, do you think maybe the government and mining companies and all stakeholders involved in the destruction of the environment, do you think they are not doing enough to ensure that the environmental children's rights are preserved?
Okay, thank you so much. Firstly, a lot of sectors need to come into play when we are talking about environmental child rights. It's not something about the government only. It's not something about industrial companies that are into mining or into production of various materials. Is the government, there is legislation, there are various policies with regards to the environment. We have organizations such as EMA that are subsidiaries to the government. They work in order to preserve our environment. But we as stakeholders sometimes we then turn a blind eye to say maybe the government is not doing much. Maybe people in various companies are not doing much, but it all comes to everyone. Are we doing something about our environment? And as it stands, I cannot blame the government to say they are not doing anything, because the legislation is there. They try to enforce the laws. If we go to companies, some of the companies, I might say so, they have social corporate responsibility. They cater for what the damage they cause. When some of the companies, they even close the pits. But to a greater extent, we see that a lot of damage has been done. Although we see policies that are being implemented, policies in place, but still we still have a long way to go. We really need to emphasize more on environmental child rights, because as it stands, children are dying, the youth are suffering, because we do not have that kind of enforcement that will make our country to move on, especially with regards to environmental rights.
All right. Thank you so much, Marvelous, for that.
Maybe Lovejoy, if you can allow me to interject a bit. Yes, Lovejoy.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I might partially agree with what Marvelous is saying. Yes, we indeed, with regards to the legal and policy framework in Zimbabwe, the policy and legal framework is there. And Zimbabwe is also a signatory of various international agreements, such as the United Nations Convention on Children's Rights, and also the African Charter for Children's Rights. So, but if you look at our national legislation, yes, the environmental impact assessment is there that can provide for the participation of the public in terms of mining investment when it is happening. Yes, we have the Environmental Management Agency, which is an act that actually provides for that issuance of the certificate for a mining company. But the way this legal framework is made, it does not specifically speak to issues that this is how we are going to ensure that children participate in these processes. So the challenge now, children might be mentioned in these pieces of legislation, but it does not specifically relate to them. And even that legislation that is there, the challenge that we are currently facing is enforcement, either from government level or the institutions that are responsible. Because you see, if you look at the Environmental Management Agency, sometimes it decides capacitation in terms of how children and youth participate. Actually, the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association did a policy brief where we were looking at mining communities such as Zichabane, Chiadzwa, where we were covering the state of the implementation of ECR in those communities. And sadly, if you find mining is broader, it's not only large scale. We've got small scale and artisanal, especially artisanal mining, which is illegal. These are the ones that are doing most of the degradation. These are the ones that are causing the harm that leaves the pits. Sometimes even the water is poisoned, which can affect children. Maybe also from the legislation is there, but implementation mechanisms and also spaces that can allow children to effectively participate might be a challenge at this moment.
All right, interesting. I wanted to bring in Irene. She's probably having problems with her network, but I wanted to hear from your side how they're doing it in Zambia. She's based in Zambia. She's in Zambia, and we know Zambia is largely a mining country, but unfortunately she's not around. Fadzai, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right, fine. So, are children protected? And who is watching the children during this time? Both we are not talking about during this time, the COVID era, right? There's a lot of attention on fighting the COVID, right? But there's a lot of mining as well happening in mining communities. Are children's rights protected? Are children protected from land degradation, from harmful practices in mining communities? Let's talk about maybe Marange, Chimanimani. Fadzai?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
I'm having a problem with my network.
Okay, but can you hear me now?
Yes, can you come again with the question?
All right, I'm talking about, right now we are in the COVID era, right? And a lot of focus has been put on fighting the disease rather than on other activities around the country, right? But mining activities are continuing, especially in areas, let's talk about Marange, let's talk about Chimanimani, Chipinge, right? Chiadzwa. Those areas are still conducting mining activities. Do you think there are people who are watching what is happening so that we ensure children's rights are protected?
No. Because those are illegal activities that are being done by children.
Okay, all right. All right, Irene, can you hear me? Irene? Okay, I think she's also suffering from the symptom that Fadzai is having. Okay, marvelous. I will pose the same question that I posed to Fadzai. What do you think can be done during this time, where everybody's focusing maybe mainly on fighting COVID rather than on fighting for children's rights? What do you think can be done in such areas like Marange, like Chimanimani? Marvelous.
Okay, thank you so much, Love. I think we really need to keep the conversation going on this one. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello? Love, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, marvelous. Marvelous.
Can you hear me, Love?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Oh, Lord. Okay, no, it's fine. Roderick, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
All right, I think you're the one with a bit of a stable network. The other guys are struggling a bit.
Okay, I was saying we really need to knowledge. We are not talking about these issues. A lot of environmental child rights violations are happening all over Zimbabwe, but we are not talking about it. The government's priority is not on environmental child rights. They are focusing on aspects, but environmental child rights is silent. So we really need to keep the conversation going. In Maranke, what are we doing? Are we capacity building people there? So basically, we really need to work on this issue. People need to talk about it. People need the knowledge. People need to learn about it.
All right. Irene, I'm trying to connect to Irene because she has got an interesting thing. Irene. Okay, she's not there. Roderick, I'll come back to you. Let's talk about the issues that are leading to child rights, environmental child rights being infringed upon. Right? We have got mining, right? But mining is also a key pillar to our economy, and we look at the communities that mining is happening. They are largely poor communities. So should we stop mining to ensure that children's rights are protected? But bear in mind that stopping mining will also lead to poverty. Should we stop mining?
Thank you, Lovejoy. An interesting question. And this discussion has been ongoing, where we are saying that should we go for livelihoods against the environment? And you speak well when you are saying that mining is critical. Look at the National Development Strategy that will run from 2021 to 2025. It actually places mining, agriculture, and tourism as an anchor for the economy of Zimbabwe. So our position from Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association, we are not saying that mining should stop, but we are saying let mining be done responsible investments are what we are calling for. Where the law, such as look at the Mines and the Minerals Act, which is currently, there is a bill that is currently being amendment, the Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill. So as Zella, our position will be now, when mining investment is undertaking, let there be a respect for the rights of communities, so that at the end of the day, when whatever happens and the returns that are generated from the mining investment can lead to community development. These areas that you are looking at and where we have been monitoring as Zella, and we are working with community monitors in those areas, most of the communities are not benefiting, if at all, from the revenue generated from mining. So we now need to possibly have strong institutions that can even assist in terms of even keeping some of the illicit financial flows that come from the revenue from the mining sector. So that's the issue, Lovejoy. Mining should happen, but responsible mining.
All right, all right. I think now you can hear us better. Can you hear me? Irene? Irene, can you hear me?
Maybe Irene can unmute herself.
Yeah, Irene, she can't hear me. All right, fine. Let me come back to Fadzai. Fadzai? Fadzai, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Yes, okay. Let's talk about youth participation in fighting for their own environmental rights. Do you think the youth are doing enough amongst themselves? You're coming from a youth organization. Do you think you as Zela Youth are doing enough to ensure that you fight for your environmental rights?
No, they are not being active. Sorry. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, they are not being active space to showcase showcase their talents because of policies that have been implemented by the government that prohibit freedom of movement.
Okay, so what do you want the government?
Hello?
Yes, what do you think the government should do?
They should give us access to prohibited. They should give us access to prohibited environmental areas like Marange, information, and also research tools.
Maybe Lovejoy, I can interject and add on what Fazai has just said. So I think the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association has been trying to develop a youth programming. I myself, before I joined the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association, I was part of its youth network. I was actually involved in a campaign that was called the Responsible Investment Campaign, where we were calling upon mining companies to undertake responsible investment. So in terms of capacitation in us even knowing the legal and policy framework, the Zela is trying to provide the spaces, which I'm actually a testimony of being this vibrance and this knowledge that I have now. It is because of that capacity that I got through by being involved in that space which Zela has provided. So in terms of us now really knowing how do you analyze a policy, how do you, when government releases a strategy, what are the key issues to note, and so forth. So that platform is actually there.
All right. Irene, are you there now? Wow, I think Irene and Marvelous are just having a bad day with the network. All right, fine. Roderick, since you're the one who has got just a more stable network, maybe we can continue the conversation with you. There's a question that has come through. What should government do to help improve the situation in real terms?
What should government do to help it to improve the situation? Which situation? Situation in the mining sector or the involvement and participation of young people?
The situation in the mining sector, also vis-a-vis the issue. Okay, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so yes, thank you, Marvelous. So currently, I think we have an opportunity as a country to really develop. Look at currently, we are faced with the Mines and Minerals Amendment Bill. This is an opportunity that we've been offered as a country to come up with a bill that can ensure that even these concerns that we are hearing here from communities are addressed through that bill, that can ensure that issues of transparency, issues of accountability, issues of participation and involvement of communities in mining, and also issues of artisanal miners and the illegal miners are addressed. Issues of safety and health. Also, we have let's not only focus on this issue from revenue only, but we've got issues of safety and health, where in some areas children have actually drowned, where in some areas waste from mine is being deposited into rivers, and we've got those issues of open peace that can be left. So we have that opportunity, government has that opportunity to pass a bill that will ensure that all these issues are covered, as much as we seek for profits, but we can also provide for that environment that is bit conducive, that can even also open for more investors that can come and invest in the mining sector in Baku.
Okay.
Lovejoy.
Yes, I can hear you, Roderick. Again, we have lost Irene. I was hoping that she should come back and talk to us. We have lost Marvelous, and we are left with Fadzai. Fadzai, are you there?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can I add on what Roderick just said?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay, so I wanted to say that children's rights are under threat due to the government insufficient measures to address. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was saying children's rights are under threat due to the government insufficient measures to address climate crisis. Unprecedented levels of biodiversity, lost extraction of natural resources. So, due to the emergence of the pandemic, the government concentrated more on the pandemic, leaving the service delivery. Leaving the service delivered and unattended, which led to
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, which led to the lack of sanitation, inadequate hygiene, and toxic exposure. So, in other words, the youth environments are not only about allowing children to be healthy. It is about allowing them to achieve their full potential and protecting their rights.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Irene, are you there now? Can you hear me?
Hi, Lovejoy. Can you hear me?
Oh, finally, we can hear you.
Yes, finally. Thank you.
All right. Before I come to you, can we make sure that we don't get the feedback? Can you try to lower the volume of your devices? If you're listening from another device, if you're an extra device, please lower the volume because there's a lot of feedback coming through. All right. So Irene, thank you for coming through this program. You're representing an organization from Zambia. Maybe for a start, just let us know from a Zambian perspective, how is mining being done and how is it impacting the daily lives of children and youth?
Sorry, come again?
From a Zambian perspective, how is mining being done? And is there respect for youth and children's rights in respect to the environment?
Oh, thank you, Lovejoy. We actually have a number of extractive industries in Zambia, and one of our major challenges is air pollution that comes from the mining that is being done. And one of the notable ones I can give an example of is the mining being done in Kabwe, lead mining in Kabwe. So we've seen that. I think it has brought up a lot of noise. There are a number of write-ups that have been done, a number of videos that have been done on the lead pollution that's happening in Kabwe. And with regards to whether children's environmental rights are being respected, I think from what we are seeing, the effect of lead pollution over the years, it's really bad because we see the effects in the children being born. Some of them are being born deformed, and we have a number of children that are less intelligent at school, and these are some of the effects of lead pollution. And I think our efforts to try and reduce the effects through our remediation works, through trying to cover up some of the lead, are really helpful. And I think the government can actually do more with regards to protecting children's environmental rights with regards to mining. I think as much as like Roderick mentioned, I think it's important to make money and have economic development, but we cannot do that at the expense of the people that we are doing the development for. And I think priority should really be on the environment and not on development only. Thank you, Lovejoy.
All right. Maybe as a follow-up, Irene, to what you just said, because you said something that is very critical. You talked about children being born deformed, which is a very serious health hazard that is being caused by mining of lead, right? So, are you guys speaking out against this? Have you engaged the government? Have you engaged the mining sector? Have you engaged the mining companies to tell them what this is causing? Because they know what is really happening on the ground.
Yes, we have a youth network in Kawe that have been on the ground to try and reduce the effects of lead and try to speak out on the dangers of lead pollution. And I think the problem, and I think that's where it starts from, if the people speak out and they let the miners know, they let the government know, it's easy for the government to act. But as long as the government is making a lot of money, so what we are doing mostly are sensitization talks to households. We are doing sensitization talk to young people as well, to teachers. We have eco classes of lead poisoning, and we actually did a video. I would have loved to share that, but it's really a very serious challenge, and we are really on the ground trying to speak to people, to inform them of what the dangers of lead poisoning are.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Erin, for that. I'll come back to you later on.
Maybe I can add.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to add on what Irene is saying. Really, the safety and the right to health for children is at stake. But interestingly, we are currently implementing an environmental child rights campaign that we just launched this October, and it will run up to June 2021. So this provides the platform not only for Zambia to undertake activities, but collectively as young people and children in Zambia. We have a youth network called Zimzam, Zimbabwe and Zambia, where we are also collectively expressing our concerns with regards to environmental child rights. And this ECR campaign is within the Southern African region. Yes, it's Zimbabwe, it's Zambia, and it's Mozambique. Key marvelous on this campaign, we have two concerns that we want to reach at international level, where we are calling for the adoption of a human right to a healthy environment by the United Nations. Then also we are calling for an optional protocol by the United Nations Children on the Convention, United Nations Convention Rights of Children. So these are the key issues that we are participating collectively as a region, because we have.
Okay, Roderick is gone. Unfortunately, I think his network is also playing up. All right, Marvelous, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, there's a question that has come through. You are engaging the youth, you are working with the youth, right? A question has come through that what can the people do to protect themselves from these health hazards on top of what the government is already doing? How can people help themselves before the government helps the community? On top of what the government helps.
Okay, if I heard you right, I encourage all the youth and children. We have currently this petition that children are signing and young people are signing on accessing a healthy environment. So we encourage everyone, and that's one of the most important thing right now. If you sign the petition, you are saying you want a healthy environment. It leads countries and even Zimbabwe to adopt the same resolution that we are trying to put through to UN. So some of the safest things is also to report issues on environmental children's rights violations. People see violations being done in their communities. People are burning forests. People are engaged in land degradation and self farming, but people are always quiet. They are not ready to come forth to report these violations to the authorities. So I encourage the youth that are listening, the children that are listening, to report all environmental violations that are occurring in their various communities. That way, if we have a track to say those that are doing these violations to the environment are imprisoned or are given penalties, we can lessen the burden that the environment is getting. A lot of children are dying because of harmful toxic gases that they inhale. So, a safe measure for us as youth, for us as children, is to report, is to make sure that we hold the duty bearers to account, to say, this is what is in the Constitution. What are you doing about it? These are the policies that you brought forward, that we want them we want the government to implement. What are we doing as the youth? That's where we should start. Are the duty bearers being notified of what the youth and children want?
Okay, Marvelous, thank you. What you did is you jumped to the solutions. I was going to come to that when we discuss about the possible solutions. So thank you for that. Irene, there's a question that has come for you. Can you hear me, Irene?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So, what is the government's response in Zambia when the community speak about the effect of mining in their community?
So, you mean what the government is doing?
Yes. So you guys are engaging with the government. Right? What is their response to what you guys are saying?
Sorry, Lovejoy, can you come again? I haven't
What
got
is
the question
government's
clearly.
response? Okay, what is the government's response to your concerns? To your mining concerns?
Okay, I think I've got it. I think the lead pollution issue is a really sensitive one, and if you do some research, this is not the first time that this has been talked about, and we've actually not spoken out loudly against the government, because I feel, and as young people, we feel that the government is not doing much. So they are quiet on the issue. They are not very loud on the issue. So it's a very, very sensitive thing, I can say, at the moment. So they are not doing much. Nothing much is being talked about lead poisoning or what can be done. I think that's what I can say. It's really a sensitive topic.
Mm-hmm. Do you engage the media?
Yeah.
Do you engage the media?
We've actually written on lead poisoning and its effects, so we've done some write-ups. Lovejoy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, so we've actually done some write-ups on the dangers of lead poisoning, and we've actually done a number of videos at one of the mountains in central province of Zambia. It's called the Black Mountain, and we've actually gone there before, but this is really a very, very sensitive topic. I would also love to encourage the people that are listening in and watching to actually try to do some research on this. I think it's better for one to also do more research, and they will really understand what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fadzai, you're coming through. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Lucky.
All right. One of the things that has come up is that the youth themselves are the ones who are doing these mining activities, and they're damaging their own environment. Zella youth, If you come across maybe something along these lines where the youth are the ones who are responsible for this, something along these lines, the ones who are responsible for this.
Can you come again, Lovejoy? I can't hear you.
Okay, I'm saying one of the issues that is coming up is that the youth are the majority minors, or even legal minors, and they are the ones who are causing the environment, the environmental degradation. So I'm saying from your perspective as Zela youth, if you come across issues where the youth themselves are the ones who are causing these environmental degradations, they are the ones who are infringing the rights. And how do you deal with that?
Lovejoy, I can't hear the last part of your question.
Okay, can you answer the first part and then I'll give someone the last part? Okay, can you part and then part?
Lovejoy.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
I can't hear me. I'll throw this question to you, Roger.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, Lovejoy, maybe I can assist Fazai. Maybe she can hear me and also add on.
Can't hear me.
So
I'll throw this question.
what we have done as the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association, ever since the COVID-19 started, we've been doing what we are calling situational reports. And for children, and youth, environment.
Okay, Roderick seems to be having problems with the network, with his network. Marvelous, are you there?
I'm having troubles with my network. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
There's a lot of feedback from this side. I can't hear what you are saying.
All right. My question to Father initially was that the youth themselves are the ones who are being accused of damaging the environment because they are the majority of artisanal miners. And from a youth perspective, what do you say about this? And how do you deal with this?
I can't hear you.
Okay. I think let's move on.
Hello. Hello.
It's all right. Irene, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. I'll also pose the same question to you, the same question that I was posing to these guys. Unfortunately, we are having a lot of problems with the network. I think it's due to the loan. We are having a lot of problems here. So maybe that's the reason why we're having this. But anyways, I was asking you guys that the accusation is against the youth themselves, that they're the ones who make up the majority of like minors, right? And they're responsible for their own degradation. They're responsible for increasing their own rights. Are you facing the same challenge in Zambia, where the majority of the artisanal miners are the youth? And how can you deal with this?
Joy, sorry, I can't hear the question. Are we facing the same challenge on what?
Land degradation.
Land degradation.
Yes, Irene, I can hear you.
Lovejoy?
Yes, Irene, I can hear you.
So you're saying, are we facing the same problem of land degradation?
Yes, my question is, their accusations that the youth themselves are the ones who are responsible for damaging the environment. They are infringing their own rights. And I'm asking, are you facing the same challenge in Zambia, where the majority of the artisanal miners are youth who are also in the habit of damaging the environment?
Okay, I have the question clearly now. I don't really think so. I think the challenge, or where we have young people being of causing the problem, especially of environmental damage, has, I think, can be clearly seen in the rural areas, where we have young people that are not employed, that may not even have a Form 5 level of education for them to be able to get any simple job. So what they actually engage in is charcoal burning. But actually, we have older people also that are supporting or promoting this, and the young people are just joining in. This is what they've been seeing in the past as a source of, just join in because that's what they know as a source of revenue for them. So I don't really think it's for, especially for young people in the urban areas, they are not really involved in really damaging the environment themselves. But I don't know if I can say for those young people in rural areas, it's not really unknowingly, but because there is no other alternative. So that's like the only way they can earn an income. So there is no alternative for them. But from some of our activities, we've seen that young people are being engaged in agriculture, in climate smart agriculture, and they are getting more interest in that. And so they are really going in deeper in agriculture and not into deforestation for charcoal burning.
Fadzai? Fadzai?
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. As Zella, have you been engaging rural community about ECR? Okay, Fadzai is also having problems with the network. Marvelous, are you there?
Hello, last week.
Yes.
Okay, Marvelous. I was just asking Fadzai if they are engaging rural communities on the dangers of illegal mining activities. Are you also guys doing the same?
I can't hear the part you said you have been engaging.
I'm asking, are you guys engaging rural communities to conscientize them on the dangers of illegal mining and damaging the environment?
Yes, as RNCYPT, we've been doing projects with the youth and children in Rafingora, where we sensitize them. We have children in as much as we can, but there are no children that work. We have the youth and children that are working in Rafingora in mind. So as RNCYPT as an organization, we've been sensitizing them on the dangers of illegal mining and also on hello.
Yes.
Okay, and we have also been giving them protective clothing for them to be safe during this pandemic. And we have also been teaching people on a proper disposal of masks, because we when we did a survey, we see children in the streets reusing masks that they see or in garbages due to waste that is not being disposed well in various communities.
All right. Irene, I see you were itching to say something. You were itching to
Yes,
talk about
Lovejoy.
something. You were itching to say something. You were itching to talk about something.
Yes, I would love to talk about the effects of COVID-19 on the environmental child rights.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I think it's really interesting that we're talking about something that we've all experienced. We all felt the instability economically and socially as well. And for Zambia, we didn't have a lockdown like Zim, so it's I can imagine how it was or how it is. I don't know if has the lockdown ended.
Technically no, but life is going on. Life is going on.
Yes, so it's really, I think it's really bad and good at the same time that even as we are discussing, it's not late because this is something that we've all experienced. And I think as it was worse for you, being that you had a lockdown, and we, of course, as Zambia, we also had some regulations to try and contain the pandemic. Looking at the effects of COVID-19, I think we can all see that we've had these challenges in the past. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic came, we had challenges of income or economic instability in some of the countries. We had health challenges. Everything was not perfect. We had social challenges. We were still talking about children not having safe spaces to play, even before the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think issues of participation as young people are also some of the issues that we had even before the COVID-19. But you can see how the situation has worsened from levels of poverty that we had before. We had a number of children in poverty from different countries, but the levels of poverty have worsened due to the pandemic because some people lost their jobs, and others who are doing businesses are not able to do that because I can imagine business individuals in Zim who are vendors and they're not allowed to be in the streets, or maybe they are given limited time. So all those issues have become now really worse due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And you can look at Article 31 in the UNCRC that looks at a child's right to play and relax. But now we can't even talk about children having few or less safe. They have to be indoors. They have to be protected from the COVID-19 pandemic. So you can see how bad the situation has become. And even like Roderick mentioned, we are having ecological child rights campaign now. It's really nice that finally we are having activities and young people and children are being involved, but it's not as it would have been before because the movements are restricted. Even the processes of having some of the events, they are really long processes now. You have to move from this office and that office for you to be given permission to go on with your activities. So I think the effects have really worsened, and it's really sad. And moving forward, I think what we can see is that countries are now focusing on healthcare and economic recovery. I don't see ecological child rights being put as a priority moving forward. I think they're not on the core of the agenda. People or countries want to recover from the pandemic. Countries now want to invest more in economic development, in research and development. It's really sad because even in the past we've seen that countries, and we see that there will be a lot of underfunding, and this is not a reality, but from is economic diversification. Countries are now focusing on recovery and also looking at the issues of recovering from the pandemic. Even developmental prospects will not really be sustainable. I think they will not put the environment as priority, even as we are trying to recover. It will be somehow on the side, and countries will just do what they can for them to be able to recover economically. So I think that's what I foresee with regards to COVID-19 affecting children's environmental rights. And I would really love to hear what my colleagues have to say on that. Thank you.
Okay, Roderick,
Lovejoy.
welcome back.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you. My connectivity way is stable. So to also add on what Irene has just said, that the agenda now is recovery of economies, and that should be actually the focus. You look at we are saying that the focus is the health. Yes, it should be health, because with health we are trying to preserve lives and to save lives. So you'll find that even the economic part and the profits that the governments and countries will be focusing on, all those things, they actually lead to the realization of children's rights. So what we are saying now is that economy should not be divorced from environmental rights. When we do business, as I said earlier, that let mining be undertaken in a sustainable way. No wonder we do the campaign responsible investment, so that at the end of the day, it's not divorced. So we are also saying that this recovery part actually is offering us an opportunity to recover better and to recover in a green way. Look at even our national development strategy. Actually, you find there's a place where government speaks of the green recovery, which means that we have been offered an opportunity to rethink the way and the manner we do businesses, to rethink even relationships between businesses and communities, to rethink even relationships between mining investment and communities where the natural resources are being hosted.
Right. Interesting. We are trying to wrap up. I think we have run out of time. Marvelous.
Now, is that economy should not be devalued.
Marvelous, are you there? All right. Irene is gone. Fazai, are you there?
As I said earlier, that mining.
Hello.
Okay. So Fazai, one last question for you. What do you think in relation to us ensuring that our environment is preserved during this COVID period? Because COVID is there to stay. So what
we are also recovering
as adults, as government, what must be done
to recover better development strategy? Actually, you find a place where government recovery.
Okay, she can't hear me. I'll come to Irene. Are you there?
Hello, Lovejoy.
Yes, you are the one who was talking about about COVID, the impact of COVID, right? So maybe in conclusion, let's talk about what we need to do. How do we ensure that we preserve the environment? Let's face it, COVID is there. Let's say it's not going anywhere. And obviously, governments are going to be focusing more on trying to mitigate the effect of COVID. So how do we ensure that our environment is still protected, even though we still have COVID in our midst? So how do we be still protected?
Maybe Lovejoy, because of our time, as my colleagues are trying to reconnect. The other critical issue that we should take note of, and from the submissions and the reports that the Zimbabwe Environmental Law Association has been doing, we have done situational reports where we were monitoring mining activities even during the time of COVID-19. We have also done situational reports where we monitored the impact of COVID-19 on the rights of children, especially the right to education. So maybe what we can call is, we've also been doing activities. We did a webinar where we were looking at how do we make the extractive sector to work for the public environment, so that when a pandemic such as COVID-19 happens, we can actually leverage from the revenue that is generated by the mining sector to finance the public environment to finance the health facilities. So you'll find with the responsible investment, these rights are going to be realized. So we also we're looking at how do we ensure, for example, the Constitution of Zimbabwe actually has provisions that ensure that revenue generated, there should be transparency, there should be accountability in the mining sector. Looking at our mining vision as Zimbabwe, the 12 billion economy by 2023. So our position, especially even as children, as youth, we are saying let there be transparency. Since mining is an anchor, if we have that transparency using the mechanisms that we discussed about, look at our Environmental Management Act, which actually is that provision of the participation of the community and children. Let mechanisms be put in place for children to effectively participate in the space. Then lastly, looking at the duty bearers, because you will find that the other challenge that we are facing, those who are duty bearers, they do not even know what it means for children to participate in policy processes. So I think there is need even for working with Parliament and also capacitating the Parliament to effectively push for environmental child rights. Even at Parliament, as young people, I think we should look at the champions. Who can we work with? Who can actually push on the issues that are affecting us as young people and as children? Last but not least, I take this opportunity to call. We are calling for people to sign the petition on environmental child rights. This petition can be found at www.myplanetmyrights. When you are signing this petition and you are in Zimbabwe, you are simply saying, let the government of Zimbabwe support the adoption of a human right to a healthy environment. Let the government of Zimbabwe support the adoption of an optional protocol under the United Nations Convention on the Rights of a Child. And lastly, you are also saying, let the government put mechanisms that can ensure the realization of a healthy environment in Zimbabwe as enshrined in Section 73 of our Constitution. So all the activities, Marvelous, that young people are doing across Zimbabwe in the mining communities, in Budiriro, tomorrow we are having a cleanup campaign. We are simply demonstrating the need to include children in solving these problems, because children and youth should not only be victims, but they should be the agent of change. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Roderick, for your deliberations. We really appreciate you coming to the program. Irene, I'll end with you. Your last remarks.
The petition on environmental child rights.
Okay, Irene can't hear me. It's all right. Anyways, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for listening to the program. Although we're having a lot of we appreciate those who were listening in. We appreciate those who were also commenting. We saw quite a number of contributions that came through. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are the only people that are remaining. So it gives me pleasure to just thank you and appreciate you. We hope to see you again on another program so that we can continue this discussion. We hope in the next discussion you will be there. Continue the good work that you're doing. We hope those guys that we also lost along the way due to network can also get this, and we move forward. That said, thank you for tuning in. I want to urge everybody to keep on taking care of themselves during this COVID time. We want to ensure that we get to where we want to get safely. May those that are sick be healed. May those that are not feeling well right now continue to get better, and may we all try to protect ourselves from COVID-19. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. My name is Lovejoy. The program was Meet the Press with Lovejoy, and the program was Lovejoy.
Thank you, Marvela. Lovejoy. Hope you signed the petition as well.